This video will contain spoilers. Consider yourself warned. In tonight's episode of s.w.a.t, tensions erupted into chaos as a prison riot spiraled out of control, leading to intense standoffs and life-threatening confrontations. It all started with one inmate's extreme reaction over a joke about breakfast, specifically, eggs benedict. One of the prisoners, humorless and agitated, took a guard hostage after becoming furious that the prison wouldn't fulfill his outlandish request for gourmet food served by Angelina Jolie. With no way to meet his demands, SWAT was called in. Hondo and the team arrived to de-escalate the situation, arresting the instigators and freeing the hostage. Amid this, a sudden explosion in the prison's kitchen disrupted everything, diverting attention and revealing a hidden agenda. Hondo's teammate Miko disregarded orders in his urgency to rescue a prisoner trapped under debris, injuring himself in the process. This led Hondo to bench him, despite the pressing need for manpower. Little did they know, the explosion was just a diversion by another inmate, setting off a chain of events that made the situation far more deadly. A low-security prisoner was trying to break into a high-security area, which was severely understaffed. While SWAT and the prison guards tried to stop him, the prisoner set off additional explosives, locking Hondo, Deacon, and Gamble in an area with 20 high-security inmates who had little to lose. With SWAT being the only ones armed, a standoff ensued. Tan managed to get Hondo and the others out, but the prisoner they were chasing now had access to the prison's armory and was heading to the control unit, where the most violent offenders are held. Meanwhile, SWAT had successfully rescued a guard, only to discover that his son, Jason, was also in danger, held by inmates who had broken into the infirmary. Jason was handed over to Benicio Ramirez, who harbored a long-standing grudge due to a disciplinary infraction he blamed on Jason. As things escalated, SWAT had to dive back into the prison to attempt yet another rescue. The troublemaker who had incited the entire riot, Luis Diaz, was identified. Although Diaz had only 6 years left on his sentence, he arrogantly claimed he'd soon be free, supposedly with the help of a mysterious figure he referred to as the Prophet. It was Diaz who encouraged the inmate to start a fuss over the breakfast menu, setting off this whole chain of events. SWAT found themselves in an increasingly desperate fight, facing a riot fueled by armed inmates. The situation intensified when Tan and Powell were separated. Powell was left isolated with the prisoners, and it became a harrowing close call. Diaz tried to assault Powell, but Tan managed to break into the room just in time, taking down Diaz. In his final moments, Diaz bragged about the Prophet's plan, but no one had a clue who this Prophet might be. Then Miko, working with Hicks outside, connected the dots and identified him as Moses Adams, a notorious criminal responsible for the torture and murder of 8 women. Adams had developed a disturbing influence over other inmates and was viewed as a sort of prophet among them. Despite orders to leave, Miko stayed to support his team. Hicks, who was butting heads with the prison's warden, took control when it became clear that the warden was more concerned with his reputation than the safety of his staff and prisoners. Tensions rose further as Ramirez, holding Hondo responsible for the death of his cousin Jesse, decided to settle the score through a brutal fistfight. Just as things were about to turn lethal, Hondo's team arrived, rescuing him and securing the area. They managed to identify and apprehend Moses Adams, who had disguised himself as a doctor with the help of his girlfriend, a nurse in the prison. Miko ultimately caught both of them, bringing Adams back into custody and ending his escape plan. The episode wrapped up with heartfelt conversations and reflections on teamwork. Miko and Hondo made amends, acknowledging the risks they both take for each other's safety. Powell, initially shaken by the ordeal, found comfort in Tan's encouragement, reminding her of her own strength during the chaos. Even Hicks, who could face trouble for his confrontation with the warden, remained unbothered, putting his team and the mission above all else. What were your thoughts on the prison riot and the intense moments Hondo faced? And who do you think will be the next key player in this season's storyline? Share your predictions in the comments.